Sounds good.
Hello, Jessica.
Hi, Lauren.
We're back.
We're back. I'm sure the blogs were just a Twitter wondering if we'd had a falling out, you know? Everyone was wondering, where is Jessica?
Where is the Jessica on Lauren and Jessica's podcast? God. Well, she's back.
Yes, was quick maternity leave.
Yes.
We don't mess around here.
Also had her own child.
Yes.
But didn't miss a beat. Watched all the shows. I think watching even more shows than I am right now, which is just like shocking. Just because keeping
There's
up
not a lot to do when you're breastfeeding. And my breastfeeding chair is in the living room. So I just turn that old TV on. And what else is on? I've been watching Denise Richards' show.
I watched it too.
It's a good quick hitter. Like, they're 30 minutes.
Right.
They're on, I think I watch them on Peacock. I don't have
And
it
you're
set
watching
to-
Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even
Watching
watching
Atlanta?
that.
Oh, my
Which we may have
God.
to start, but I'm watching that Denise Richards. The one thing I'll say about that is I think she comes off drunk.
She is loopy.
Yeah, something.
But that's always been, she was always a
vibe,
little
yeah.
off when she was on Beverly Hills,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And, yeah, just ditzy. But it's kind of what you love
agree.
about her. She is such a lovable idiot, I think.
Yeah. Totally. I agree. Anyway, we're not talking about that,
No,
though.
we're not going to get into that one.
Today we're talking about Valley. Woo woo. New
Yes.
season. Coming out with a bang, I will say.
Yes.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. Which how did they make those 3 parts? Just
Yeah,
so
that was a stretch.
That was a stretch. And
Yeah.
then Summer House. So let's start off with the Valley. Wow, I will say, and Kate said this and I kind of agree, it's good, but it's also a little depressing because it really hits home for us millennials. Like, they're basically all 5 years from what we are.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, you just really see how things can go south.
I know. Yeah. Like, the divorces are happening. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good, just, things for us to keep in mind. Like, but come on. I mean, Jax Taylor, I'm surprised him and Brittany lasted as long. And now seeing the demise of Jesse and Michelle. Jesse sucks as a human being.
Really? See, I don't think he's getting a horrible at it, and I think Michelle's getting a little bit of a bad at it.
Okay.
So, but let's just go right into it. So Jesse and Michelle are co-parenting. They both are dating someone new. Because it seemed like he is gonna just poke at her all season and get like rises of her off the whole season, and he's like open about it. He's like, yeah, that's what I was doing.
That's where he's such an asshole, but he doesn't hide it. Whereas I think Jax does the same thing, but will never admit that that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
So
right.
at least he has Jesse as the honesty that he's doing it to just bother her when he was like, I think we should move to Newport Beach.
Right. And he's like, yeah, I did that to piss her off.
Yeah. But like, what a nightmare person to co-parent.
Oh, God.
And go
Yeah,
through a
that's true.
divorce. Like that attitude he has, he's going to make everything of a battle.
And she kind of sat there and was like, I try and avoid him at all costs. And then he rolls right up next to her. There's like no.
And then she's like, I get so mad. I just always take the bait. It's like, yeah, you do need to just go, nope, I'm just not talking to you.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Ignore him.
So what she announces is she's dating someone. It seems suspicious. She said, I used to run into him at coffee shops and on hikes.
Yeah. Run into him. I don't have many friends that I just run into.
No.
And that's of the other gender. And suddenly I know them so well, I'm dating them.
Right. So she's dating him. Now Jasmine comes out strong with her relationship. Looks like we're
Yeah.
going to see that girl a lot.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I wonder what the first season, was it just Jasmine wasn't really main character and now they decided to bring her in more? So now girlfriend, or do you think girlfriend didn't want to film?
I think it was like caught off guard, kind of girlfriend didn't understand, and now the
Yeah.
season's like background too, and she's like, I'm filming in this. I'm securing this gravy chain early.
Yeah.
Janet her storyline is being a mom, clearly, and then we have Jackson and Brittany who are really just coming straight out the fire. I mean, there's no warm up on this.
Oh, geez, yeah. I mean, we're hearing a near domestic dispute like that occurred with Jax flipping a table
Right.
and it hitting Brittany.
Right. And the weird part is, Jessica, is that he announced on that podcast that he is bipolar. We know that now. He went into treatment. It feels like and he had a cocaine addiction.
Yes, like
So
outright.
it feels like he did that very purposefully right before the season came out
Yeah.
to ensure that when we watch this now, we all do it with a little bit of empathy.
We all know that that's what he's going through.
Right.
100%.
Because I'm doing that. I'm like, oh yeah, poor guy. He can't figure out what's wrong with him as he sits and cries to Tom Schwartz,
well,
you know?
This might be a case where you have more empathy than I do, because I am not looking at him with any empathy.
Really?
No, I just think he's so horrible.
But what are your thoughts on Brittany with her hooking up with one of his best friends?
Ooh. And then when someone was saying, oh, Schwartz in like the after show or something. I only saw a clip of it. Again, maybe you watched the whole thing. But he's like, no, but like Brittany doesn't have like that kind of bone in her body. And I'm like, I think that was intentional though. Like you can't tell me she hooked up with his best friend and didn't know that would be a dagger.
Yeah, I think Brittany probably woke up and was like, yeah, this probably is a good thing, but I don't really care. I'm going to let it happen.
Yeah.
But it sounded like Jax actually has more problem with that guy, Julian, his name is, than maybe Brittany. But like that's where Brittany, I feel like she always paints herself as an angel, but when it comes to Jax, I feel like she does poke the bear a little bit. And then he reacts, and she always gets him on the reaction.
Yeah. But everyone just sides with Brittany because deep down, everyone does hate Jax.
Yeah, right.
So they're like, you know what? Brittany put up with him. She can do it.
Interesting about Tom Schwartz, I thought he looked amazing.
Yeah, he did look really good.
Like, not reality TV really looks good on him. No Vanderpump.
That's true. I wonder if he just like is like drinking a little less. Like I feel like he kind of got rid of like a pudge that he kind of just had.
Seemed to be looking younger, seemed to be like more just normal. Like,
and interestingly, this is like his bar is still open, but it's like on its way out.
Really?
Because when he went to the really sad boys' night at Jax's, when Brittany was having her white party, Jax said, how's Schwartz and Sandy's? And he was like, it's okay. So it was still open like that summer.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Tom then.
Oh, see, I think he was referring to Schwartz and Sandy's.
You're probably
that
right.
has now since shuttered.
I agree. Yeah.
But can we also talk about how dead Jax's bar was?
Oh, yeah. But it's attached to something.
Yeah.
So it's going to kind of limp along. It doesn't have to be the like main, breadwinner out of those two establishments.
Right.
Versus Schwartz and Sandy's, I think, stood alone.
It was its own thing.
In a strip mall, like out somewhere.
Weird location.
Yeah, right. Oh, my gosh. So we start off right away, and there's these rival white parties going on. And Jax has thrown his own kind of separate boys' night.
I couldn't get over how sad it was. It was Schwartz and his like triplet brothers.
Oh my god.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And then they were also like, oh, where's so and so? And Jack's like, oh, he's like still working. Like, oh, there are more people coming.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's just you. It's just you.
It's just you guys.
I love it.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of things I love, so what seems to have happened, and I would be curious to get your take on this, is the balance of power has shifted away from Janet to
Kristen and
Kristen.
Zach.
Kristen. Crazy Kristen. I felt so happy for her, Jessica, and I've been meaning to post about it, but I just can't figure out how to say it cleverly. But when Jesse says to her, you were right, it was like, we're dealing with measles, tariffs. I'm worried the electrical grid is going to go down. But Kristen Doty was finally told she was right.
I know.
And she was right about Miami Girl. Yes. And she was right about, Jax. And she was right about so much in VPR. Yeah. But now it's like, finally she gets told.
This is season 2 is Kristen's redemption season on the Valley. I was always there with her. Season 1, I think I did kind of side with her more. But like everyone else. And I loved in her confessional thing, she's like, if I tell you that I know something, you better believe me. Like she's like, I am right.
Oh my god, I love her.
Yeah,
she's held on for all these years. This is
gonna be a great season for her.
Truly.
She gets engaged, she's pregnant. Like this is her year.
Truly. And so I love that her and Zach have kind of become the like almost heroes of this, right? Although Zach does not seem to be getting as good of a rub as her.
No. And to think they were the two being excluded from Big Bear.
Yes.
They were the two having that really sad spa day at Kristen's sad apartment when everyone was at Big Bear.
Interesting though, Brittany has not left Janet's side, so it's that's kind of the break, right?
Yeah.
And then Zach seems to have come with his like most petty version of himself. He calls Janet plain McBoring Pants. How did plain McBoring Pants come between me and Brittany? Yep. I was like, yes, Zach.
We love Zach.
And his hair's changed slightly, but not a lot.
I know. Someone was saying, well, did you see Janet's shady comment where they pull up and she's like, I can see the car behind. She's like, oh, that must be Zach. Still looks like a Lego.
Yeah, his hair. Nia and Danny, which Nia and Danny better like step it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Their storyline is like, we're going to have another kid.
I know.
No.
There does, if unless the editing is playing with me in that, season, or the rest of the season preview, it looked like Kristen and Nia might go at it a little bit.
Oh, really? Yeah.
There was some fight, and I was like, oh, dang, I don't see that, where she's like, you're such, like, Nia got a little activated, and she's normally Miss Cool, Calm, and like, Danny, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah,
like,
right.
We won't have the fight on camera.
Yeah, right. We'll do it off camera.
Yeah.
I just wrote down in big letters, why are they doing this to themselves again with Nina and Danny? Like, why are you having another child? I felt so bad for them last season with the 3 kids, and now they're actively, because her whole thing is right that she wants her like body back, whatever. I'm like, girlfriend, like space it out. Give yourself a moment.
I know. I was also about to say, just be done now.
Yeah, right.
You also have 3. Maybe just get your body back now and be done. But okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so then we end on this white party. It's like the first time everybody's brought together. Janet tries to kind of make her round. Catch, though, there was a moment where Kristen was talking kind of shit about Janet with, I think, Jasmine. And Janet, like, pops up in the background.
Sorry to interrupt. Gotta love it. And it's exactly.
I cackled, Jessica, when that happened, because I was just so like, oh my God.
I think Jasmine was like, oh, like she didn't see her approaching. And then it was like, oh, awkward.
Interesting, too, at this white party, Luke seems to also be like really coming in hard for Kristen. I'm sure he probably watched the season last time and he was like, oh, she was kind of right on some stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stand by my girl a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh, and I noted Luke being a little messy, immediately going to Zach, you were called a demonic best friend. Like, he's the one spreading. He's trying to make Janet look bad. Like, yeah, he's getting involved. Luke's
like, okay, if we're going to do this reality TV, I
know.
gotta come in.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy who wanted to go live in Colorado and like not go out to LA, like they started a podcast, he's filming again, like he's in the mix. He's in the mix.
He, I think, maybe started to see the paychecks and went,
right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
We can stay out here a little longer.
Right. But it's just off to a great start. Anything else on Valley?
Well, just the whole Janet thing going on that podcast, making those comments about Kristen and Zach, like still saying they didn't want me to go full term. That, wow.
Yeah.
I'm totally on Kristen's side of like, you can't just go, oh, sorry I said that. Like, that's a huge allegation to make against someone who's your friend.
I will say it was a while ago.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
I thought it was like the episode, like it was long after.
No, it was when they were filming last time.
Oh, so she's just Kristen's like not over it.
I don't know when they filmed, how long after they filmed the first time, but we're like still trapped in that, you know. I think the war started then, and then it's still.
I see. I thought Janet did that like more recently, like after having the baby, was then making those comments.
No, which is why it's a little like sus that they're still arguing about it. But I think maybe what happened is they just stopped speaking, and then all of a sudden the filming now brings it all back up. Of like, this is why I'm mad at you.
I see. All right, fine.
The one thing I will say too, final thought on Valley, is that I expected a lot of them to have a glow up, because it's like you watch yourself on TV and you're like, oh damn, I hate my yellow teeth, or I need to lose a few lbs. It does not seem like they've had glow ups other than Jesse and Michelle. Like, no one has like watched themselves on TV and been like, oh, all right, let's go on.
We're getting like Zach. We're getting real catty.
Real petty. Get the petty out. Petty machine. Let's go on to Summer House, right? All right, Summer House, we have 2 episodes to recap.
Yes.
Which is so fun. This season, I feel like, is like going so good.
Yeah.
So first, the season. So we're gonna do both episodes. One episode last week, and this one. So the episode last week actually starts with a lot of them driving up in the cars, which Lindsay and Paige, shockingly, are like together in a car. They are chit-chatting. They are like good friends again. It is so crazy to me that they are like open to each other and trying to act like they actually are friends. I don't think there's friendship there at all. I don't think it's like
If there wasn't a show, they would never be in each other's lives.
And they're kind of trying to act like, well, finally we're friends. It's like, no, you just have mutual respect for one another and like what you've been through at this point.
And you realize you're both here and you have both matured. So let's just join alliances on Summer House.
But interesting, Jesse, Lexi, and West ride up in their car. And we get a little taste of Jesse's manipulative behavior with, West chiming in and saying like, well, if he doesn't want to be introduced to the parents, then I wouldn't push that.
Then you shouldn't. And then he's like, but you already did it, so don't listen to me.
Right.
No, Jesse, did I text you this or something? But I was like, all these things and ways he's being with Lexi, I'm now, I think, understanding that the other girls season 1 of Jesse's season 1, I think they all clocked him way faster. That like, okay, granted, Paige was in a relationship, but like Sierra was single and like was never interested initially. He was so flirty with Amanda, again, obviously married, but I think they all were like, no, there's something off with Jesse. Because in his confessional, he's like, yeah, I just let her meet my parents because of the stuff that she found out at kickball. What an a-hole. And like, he had just told Wes, no, there's no way she's meeting my family this week, and then does it like 2 nights later.
It's so manipulative. And it's so odd to me that nobody is like talking about this. Like, I don't see a lot of posts about how toxic Jesse is.
Right.
It's so crazy to me that he's not getting a worse rub on this.
Yeah. That account you just told me to start following, is it XOXO Bravo bitch or something?
Yeah.
She's definitely team Lexi.
Oh, she is. Okay.
She's been posting quite a bit.
The one thing I will say about Lexi too is that she even now does interviews where she'll be like, it wasn't Sierra's fault. It was Jesse's.
Yeah.
Which is like pretty evolved for being so young in this day and age, right?
Yeah.
That she's not giving Sierra a little bit more of a push, because I don't think Sierra's necessarily innocent.
No.
But I don't think she's guilty as much as Jesse.
I'm going to say Lexi's press tour, she's been coached. I think they were like, it's going to be a much better look, especially with all the Paige Craig stuff. It's going to be a better look if you go in like, I'm siding with the girls and we hate the men. And she's going to get a season 2.
That's a hot take, Jess.
I for sure think Lexi was told, do not go in on the like more OG girls of Summer House.
Right, because you won't win.
Yeah. I think it was like, you're going to have a better storyline just hating Jesse, and you're both going to be back next summer and then dating other people in the house.
Well, and that makes sense.
We're going to have a West Sierra again, but more dramatic, because I think they will rub it in each other's faces.
Right. Well, and it's funny because, it's funny you say that, because now I think about like just jumping ahead to Sierra, Amanda, Paige, and they're sitting on the rooftop chatting, and you can tell they're just chomping at the bit to be like irritated with Lexi and this whole thing.
Yep.
But the reality is she's kept her cool in the house full of lions.
And they won't be able to go, when you did that podcast and talk crap about me, it's going to be like, shit, she didn't say anything bad about me.
Right.
I think
that's such a good point, Jessica. Yeah. Well, anyway, and they finally get up there right to the house, back to the last episode, and the girls kind of warn her, but they don't do so in a like obvious way. They're kind of just like allude, like, well, he's got to change his behavior if you guys are exclusive.
Right.
So let's see. Then we go into Shabbat dinner, and this is the big moment where Lindsay and Carl go at each other, and then everyone, you can feel, tenses up around the table, and then it just resolves itself in 2 seconds.
Because Carl has the proof that this did not happen when they were still engaged.
It was funny hearing the cast talk about this, because I think we were going through all the same emotions that they were. Yeah. Like Wes was saying that he was wondering if Carl was going to use the fact that like the phones were in another room as the reason not to go get the phone. Yep. And then he does get the phone, and Wes was like, oh my God, thank God you did that, right?
Yep. But then whatever, of course, honestly, I felt like a lot of that was Lindsay needing a little bit of a storyline. I don't think she cared that much about the timeline. And we also, I think it was right before Carl goes that him and Lil are done. So it's like not even relevant anymore. Like she's not even in the picture. It was like 1 or 2 dates and Carl's like, and she's a little, I think he called her zany.
Yeah, right. Because she brought a lemon to their date.
Yeah, that's a polite way of saying cuckoo for Cocoa.
Makes her own clothes zany.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, I don't hate the granola girls, but I cannot relate to them in any sense of what they do.
No.
Lindsay gets like shut down immediately. And also, by the way, they all keep saying like, can Lindsay just stay pregnant forever? I feel bad for her with that comment, but I get what they mean.
Usually the comment is the other way around. People are like, oh my God, like your hormones, you're so meat. And it's like hilarious that like this shortened period of time, everyone likes that version a few more.
I just think for Lindsay, it's like validating that she was so nervous about getting pregnant and getting kind of to be a mom that maybe it caused her to like really like lose her cool with all of these guys. Now maybe that's giving her the nice version, but now that she's actually there, she can kind of relax a little bit and she doesn't have to be so crazy about it.
And I think a lot was alcohol.
Sure.
Just she would get very riled up. Not saying she had a problem, but it definitely allowed her to kind of go off on people.
She couldn't resolve it. When she got activated, she couldn't figure out how to
couldn't take it down a notch. Yeah.
Okay, so then we have Jesse revealing that Lexi basically sees who he follows and unfollows.
Well, I was going to say, clearly Lexi lives on, like, she is an Instagram model.
But how does she know? She must have an app. She must have an app.
I know. I was about to say, especially with, I'm sure, how many people he follows. This isn't like he went from 104 to 107, and you could almost kind of maybe remember.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how, because I was like, I have absolutely no idea who Vince follows.
Because that's her job, right? So she's got to have some technology,
true.
or she puts that mom and sister on it.
She probably needs to analyze her own followers and unfollows, and so maybe she can do it on other accounts.
Or it's her sister's job. Watch Jesse and make sure I know who he's following and unfollowing.
Yeah, don't you feel like Lexi's sister mother is like unhealthy?
Oh my God. It's so weird. It's weird to me. I put my finger on this because it's when they go out and have those espresso martinis. I'm like, this is so weird. I think the weirdness stems because Lexi is the breadwinner. I've now used that word twice from Paige. And so they are all just circling her orbit.
Right.
And her orbit is like sleepovers and like candy, and like we all just fall into sleep and sleep in whatever bed is available to us because we're just all best friends.
Yeah.
And that is so weird to me that two women who are clearly older than her are just like going along with that because if she makes the money and she pays their salary, like.
And they go clubbing together, like with her parents. She goes with her parents.
But she's clearly created that like corporate culture in her family. You know what I mean?
Corporate culture. Giving her way too much credit. One side note, this episode, Lindsay is just full bump. Just all her outfits are just crop tops with her bump out.
Two people who just went through that. I did want to say I'm not a fan of that.
No, I never once had my bump out.
Even if it is tanned, which you're not supposed to do, by the way. Even if it's pregnancy safe self tanner, I don't think that's a good look.
It's just leaching into your skin.
And I also think Lindsay's always been a thin girl, like on TV, but when you're in that first part, you can't tell if it's fat or if it's bump.
So that's where I think she was just leaning into like, I'll just have it out and I'll just constantly be touching it and like people will know it's pregnant, not fat. But never went for it. Wasn't using any tanners, so mine was pale as hell. Had that linea negra go. I was like, this isn't cute. I mean, didn't have stretch marks. At least I'm glad I didn't get any of those, but didn't really want it on display.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, wait, hold on. I have to go. The last thing I was going to say about Kyle's DJ day party. First of all, Kyle's like, did you see that he's kind of like headlining Coachella? Not headlining, but
I was like, excuse me?
There's some side gigs, side stages that he's picked up. I
did not know he was playing at Coachella.
Yes, Jessica, like, how is he a big deal? He started DJing less than a year ago.
Yeah, he's got a quick rise.
He's got a good publicist.
Yeah. And I mean, he had the perfect intersection of, like he said, I was already throwing Loverboy events and I always would have music. So now I just play it and gets more.
Now I hit the button in front of people.
I know.
But it's just shocking to me because it's like, again, we've heard about James Kennedy of Maddie Reese, and they've worked so hard in their DJ careers all these years. And like Kyle's like at Coachella.
Yeah. He did a few classes.
Right.
He went to DJ school.
Right. Okay, so the one thing, though, I want to talk to you about this DJ day party is basically the Paige Sierra conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Which that feels very kind of staged to me.
Yeah.
And like, it seems like Paige is like, okay, I'm getting ready. I'm going to go talk about this now.
Yeah.
And then like totally regrets it.
Right.
But she makes it seem like, you know, I didn't mean to say all that. But it's like, no, you and Sierra walked away. The cameras followed you. Everyone knew it was going to happen during that.
I know. It's making me... I don't want to think it was too planned out and like a whole scheme. And I hope it is that we are truly just seeing Paige going through thinking about ending it. Like I'm saying, I don't want to think that Paige thought, I'm going to start dropping crumbs because I know I'm going to do this. And she was already trying to manipulate how people would view the breakup. Or because, maybe it's getting into the next episode when she's like having extreme anxiety.
Right.
And that's where she's like, I don't want everyone to hate me.
Right.
After
I think
breakup.
I saw this post and I'm kind of like, oh, this kind of makes sense. Somebody said basically Paige miscalculated. She thought that Summer House, she was going to use Summer House as a way to get her side of the story out there. And she basically miscalculated on how fast all of this was going to like fizzle up.
Oh, yeah.
And then she also miscalculated on the fact that she was filmed on Southern Charm, but she doesn't look like, this makes her look very like, you know, she's weighing the options and she's torn and she's trying hard to make it go and it's just not going. And Craig isn't really being easy.
Right.
Southern Charm made her look like disinterested and like not
and
on
that
the same
aired
page.
first.
Yes, that aired first. And so someone was saying she kind of wanted to use this season to like get her story out there, but it's just like almost too late because we've already seen other aspects
That's true.
of it.
And the breakup all dropped in December.
Right.
Like we know it happened around Thanksgiving, but like it's now April and we're
Right.
getting her side of the story from Summer House. Yeah, that's true.
Because she also is like, she's using her confessional to like really set the record straight, right? I never wanted to have kids in Charleston. I never wanted to live in Charleston.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not what we've seen on Southern Charm.
Like you can't tell me that entire relationship you straight up said I'm never having kids in Charleston with you. No way.
You can't rewrite it now, boo-boo. Nobody believes you. Also, this weird comment about being the breadwinner, which now I'm clearly using like in my day-to-day like speech because I've used it 3 times now. Did you see, there's this weird clickbait article that sometimes I actually click on, but it was saying that basically like Paige meant breadwinner not just because of like the opportunity she's gotten, but like some of the investments that they've made together.
Oh.
And she was the one that like invested in certain things that have done really well. So now he's like profiting off the fact that she like made some investments.
But like that she told him to invest his money
Yeah, like
in?
she kind of like ran the money.
Oh,
and then she keeps saying, well, I mean, whether or not you believe that, because that was clickbaity, that article I clicked on. But that whether or not you believe that, she keeps inferring like, well, we won't be able to live the lifestyle we live if I didn't make the money that I did.
Right.
Which that's like...
So, yeah, when she made that comment, I was like, okay, you guys like, is Paige paying for your vacays? Like when the two of them go somewhere? Does she drop her card down?
Because it's like he's not living with you. He's not like you're not paying his rent.
Right. And she was adamant about a man not paying her rent.
Right. You're not paying for your weekly meals.
Yeah.
So what do you mean the lifestyle?
Right. I don't know. Unless she meant his envision is me being a stay-at-home mom. So if we cut out my salary, we will not both get to have these lovely lives and have 2 homes and have...
I feel like it's so weird when you start to talk about finances when you don't live together. Like if Craig was a stay-at-home wife and Paige, then you could talk about that.
Yeah.
But he's supporting himself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
And that was weird. And of course, Facebook being all the older women, boy moms, all like ate her up for saying all that.
Moms. Yeah.
All right, so then episode 2, the gang goes out. Woo woo! Finally, everyone goes out
till 11.
Yeah, right. Lindsay comes home quickly. It's weird though because Jesse and Lexi seem to be somewhat having a fight, but it's like resolved super fast.
Oh my god!
And I thought that was the first time we were going to see Jesse say "I love you," and he'd wake up the next day and be like, "Oh, I didn't mean that."
But that was another peak gaslighting Jesse was saying, you were so flirty with West and da-da-da out in the car when the cameras caught them right as they got out of their Uber. They then get into the bedroom and they're in the bed and Jesse's like, why do we have to have such negative energy? And he said, you brought it up. And she's like, what? You brought it up, Jesse. I was like, oh my God. I really have, like, Jesse has given me massive ick.
Yeah. Super toxic, the whole thing.
He is shady. I don't like the way he moves, you know, when
right.
they say that, like, he moves in shady ways.
Well, and it does seem like, again, it's like Lexi is like sitting there and she's like, kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you know, she's not sitting there going like, well, if you can flirt with Sierra, I can flirt with Wes. She's keeping it pretty above board. Like, and she's the youngest one in the house, you know? Right.
And also, show me the evidence of the flirting. Bet the cameras were still there. I would like to see said flirting.
Right.
We didn't see it.
No, nobody, there's no flashback.
Yeah.
Finally, so first of all, I must say, and it's just evidence of the conversation we're having, no Kyle and Amanda really anywhere to be found this entire season.
Oh my God. Well, also, it's when an episode ends, I then realize if Gabby wasn't there. I never in the moment have noticed, and clearly Bailey is just gone and never to be seen again, but I knew she was going to fade away. I freaking forget until Gabby showed up to the like cancer house thing. I was like, oh, we didn't see her last episode, did we? Like, she's so
She's not a player. She's not a player at all.
I was shocked she got back.
I mean, Emerald's having a bigger season than Gabby is.
Yeah. Ew, him too. Blech.
Yeah.
Poor Paige having to overhear.
But I also think that it's like, the hate for him the next day was a little like too much.
Yeah, but I was thinking of, it's like, I kind of like that he's being like slut shamed in a way. It's nice to see a man be slut shamed. But I agree in the sense of, in a share house, I'm not cool with all these strangers coming in the night.
Yeah, especially when you're of a status. I mean, yeah, my husband has had experiences where he's gone on boys trips and like there's been a stranger being brought back and the stranger actually kind of went through the house and like looked for wallets. Yeah, no, like some shady characters could be, at least Summer House, the people know that there are cameras everywhere. Right. You aren't creeping in someone's room and stealing their purse, but still, it's a bit of a security risk.
Yes, yeah.
I read on Reddit, so I don't know if this was true, but there was somebody who decided to really go to bat for Emerald, and it was this female, and she said that he comes to Christmas at her house. He always brings her parents gifts. She has kind of a handicap or disabled brother, and he always like helps the brother and brings the brother out. So this person was really saying like this is a really bad edit for him, but to most of the cast's point, and I think what you're trying to say, it's like he just sleep at the girl's house,
right? And not a single one has signed the waiver to be shown.
Right.
We haven't seen their face. They literally cut back to when Jesse goes, I had one sleepover, but I'd already like gotten to know everybody and I did it once. And oh, that's what it's like when you get to see their face. I mean, I get it too. I wouldn't sign the waiver either.
I wouldn't sign it.
But the fact that not a single one.
Well, you're making me think, do you think that it's because it's after production leaves them out, so it's so late at night that maybe production can't get in front of it and go, if you come back to the house, you need to sign a waiver?
I see. Like they're using only internal house cameras to capture.
Because Emerald seems like he's the guy that cleans up at 2 a.m. Yeah. He doesn't clean up. He doesn't go. He's not bringing these people back at 10.
That's true.
It's like
what's left?
Exactly. The bar is like, we're closing. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And Emerald's like, you're coming with me.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here.
So part of me thinks that maybe Jesse was able to get that last girl on camera because
it was a little earlier.
And production probably intervened and said, hey, if you come back, we got to have you sign this.
We need better timestamps of Emerald coming home.
Right. Or, Jessica, it could have been just so many girls this summer that production couldn't devote the resources.
This is too much paperwork.
To tracking them all down and saying, do you want to be on the show or not?
This is an administrative situation.
They tasked an intern to go try and track these girls out, and the intern got sidetracked.
Because they were to ask Emerald their names, and he's like,
I don't know.
Blonde, 5'7".
Truly, right? Maybe that was what was happening.
Okay, that's amazing to envision. A poor little intern trying to chase these girls down.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's see.
Wait, the locked door with Kyle and West trying to get in.
Very funny.
Just cracked me up. That scene of them, like, the whole thing with that door has always been, and then just, like, pregnant Lindsay opening it, like, and they were like, sorry.
They came home late. It also sounded
5 a.m.
It also sounded like Wes was like super blackout almost.
Yeah. You saw how hungover? He was wearing one of those, like, frozen, like, headbands.
I love Meredith Marks, like, the next day. Yes.
And it reminded me, the pod I listened with you and Kate, that Chicago video clip, that little handoff.
Yeah.
I wonder how West stays up till 5:30. I wonder if Kyle's doing it.
Oh my God.
Adderall. I mean, they're on something. Kyle is, what, 41?
Jessica, that makes me feel so much better about my life.
Are you partying?
I literally was looking at Kyle this episode and I was like, how do you stay up late? You must just be such a good person. You have such high energy. No, he's on something. You're right. Oh my God. Thank God.
But he is like superhuman in the sense of I love that Kyle comes home, drunk, eats, and he freaking gets up and works out the next day.
Yeah.
Couldn't be me.
No, I agree.
I can't work out on a good day when I'm not hungover.
Today was a push and I couldn't get there. So
yep, I went for a bit of a walk and called that a day.
All right, so let's move to Hope Lodge.
Just a little good, wholesome activity for this cast to do. It was nice to see, like you said, filming in the city. Mm-hmm. It's related. Clearly, Jesse's involved because of his cancer.
Right, and we see that. I mean, I was like looking at my notes. I'm like, oh yeah, Carl revealed that he broke his dry streak at like the beautiful Hope Lodge moment. There's a little bit like, dude, Carl, maybe you can talk about that.
Time
after.
and place. Time and place. Yeah.
And then Sierra gets called out for touching.
Yeah. Again, Jesse toxic. I bet Lexi did not say it like that, and he then made it a big deal. That then makes Sierra be like, "What the hell?"
I know. I mean, it's like you have created this problem for her.
Yeah.
And you can see she gets mad, and I get why. She's like, you've done this, and now you're trying to suggest that I'm in the wrong.
Right,
like,
right.
Come on.
And I loved that. I mean, the producers are like, we got clips of Jesse all over Sierra.
Right.
So
and it's not even like last summer or like
was
hidden. It's
a
like
week ago.
It was like last episode.
Yeah.
Let's just remind everyone.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, love Summer House. Anything else that you want to talk about?
No, can it just finally be warm? Like every time I watch Summer House, I also get mad at how little they use the pool. All the times they're sitting around it, I'm like, can someone jump in? Can someone jump in for me? I'm like such a pool freak. Like I want to jump in every time when they're like, oh, it's so hot out. I'm like, why is no one in the pool?
Just before we move on, so Paige and Hannah, did you see they went on the Tonight Show?
Yes.
You didn't watch it though, did you?
I did not either.
Yeah,
I just started listening to their most recent pod, and they talk about being on Fallon.
And then also their book came out.
Yeah.
Which I have a friend who bought it, says it's fab. It's a good coffee book.
I am on the list for it at the library. Sorry, I'm not paying for it, Paige. We paid to go to your tour, and I'm not paying for your book. I'm going to use the library.
I saw this, though, and this is like what I want in life is somebody just read through it and tell me what the good parts are. Somebody on Reddit, and then, again, a content creator picked it up.
Someone's already done the whole thing and reviewed it?
There's a page in there that says basically what men do to avoid therapy, and there's a whole list of things.
Yeah.
And one of the things on the list is start a pillow company. And everyone's like,
that got added after the fact.
I think she put that in there as a joke to him, and then it's like now actually like, because when you write a book, it's got to be set like pretty far in advance,
right? But
I guess it's a bulleted list. She could have easily scratched it, and it probably would have been fine.
Yeah, they can like add this in.
She's like, keep it in there.
Change that one to this one. Yeah.
Like, Paige, do you want to put that bullet in? And she's like, yes, keep it. Oh my gosh. Speaking of Paige, one last note there. It does feel like when she is kind of working herself up and crying on camera and she's anxious, it does feel like it's not necessarily all about Carl. It does feel like it's a little bit about like she's worried her career is going to change.
Yeah.
Like people won't like her and she'll lose a lot of what she's built. Did you catch that?
Yeah, which tracks with everything Craig is kind of saying. And again, this is not a fault of hers. That's great. She's very career driven, but it's like she is thinking about the relationship and the career, and that is what she's also worried about.
Right, because she actually became famous. She hit her stride, I should say.
Yes, when
him,
they started
with him.
dating. Yeah. They are kind of like a Bravo royalty couple.
Yes.
It was Kyle and Mauricio.
Right.
That one has crumbled. But
Lindsay
then they
and Carl
were like,
for a split second.
Yep, but I would never
Austin
say
and Sierra.
Ariana. I wouldn't say Ariana and Tom were like Bravo royalty, but they were like a long-standing
Right.
relationship on a very popular show, and that breakup
They were a
like
pillar.
shook the world.
Yeah, right. And then
Not to be dramatic.
Yeah. All right, so we move on to last piece, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yes,
Wait.
Reunion Part 3.
Okay, so Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Reunion. So this is the third and final episode. Thank God, Jessica.
I know.
Oh my God, let me tell you, I was watching the Peacock extended. I was like, how do we have 58 minutes of this? I was kind of hitting the, okay.
Can I watch this at 1.5 speed?
Yes, exactly. So we're back on Dorit and Sutton. Now, one of the things with this reunion that I just Andy, come on. If you're doing this, this is just, we're moving slow here. Did you catch this? Like, he wouldn't let people talk about things before he was ready to talk about it in the kind of agenda.
Oh, okay.
And I usually feel like he lets people go a little bit.
Yeah.
But to me, that read as like he has so little content that he can't afford someone to jump
to
I
see.
Talking about
He was like, wait till that segment.
Yes,
because I need it to be part of
I
the segment.
needed to fill that segment. I can't have you just talking right now. And the women are actually helping him. Like, we'll get a lot of them
that'll
said,
come.
We'll get to it. It's and a lot of times reunions, people just start talking.
Right.
He keeps them on track.
Because this fight overlaps with that fight, and
No, but not Beverly Hills. The other thing I'll say is I feel like Beverly Hills has jumped the shark, as they say in the show business, and is talking about the fourth wall a lot. Like, they're talking about filming versus not, versus what actually is happening
right
in the show. They're talking about what Kyle's sharing versus what Garcelle is sharing,
Yeah. I appreciated that comment, though, that Garcelle was like, you told me stuff off camera, and now I think that was manipulative.
But what would have been manipulative about?
Well, I mean, I get Kyle's defense saying, well, that's because I actually thought we were trying to build a friendship and be close, so I'm telling you stuff. But then it's admitting that you are hiding things on camera. So I think
But how would it
was manipulative, as in, if whatever she said, we don't know what she told Garcelle, I imagine it was like, Garcelle, I am exploring stuff with Morgan, but Morgan does not want that discussed. So maybe she's like, I am kind of dipping my toe into that, but I am not prepared to start talking about my sexuality on the show. So then Garcelle's like, well, you told me all that so that I would go, oh God, I'm not going to now interrogate her on camera about it. Right.
Now that you've shared that. Now, I will say there's a conspiracy going on, which you love it.
Oh, love it.
Because it's actually Conspi-Reality.
Yes.
But that Morgan and Kyle are putting together a documentary on Morgan's life.
Oh, okay.
You know how Kyle sometimes has those side projects?
Yeah.
And
Lifetime, usually.
And so she doesn't want to talk about Morgan because she wants to make sure that everything that is about Morgan can be left for the documentary.
If the documentary doesn't conclude with them saying, and we're getting married.
I know.
I don't care.
But that's the conspiracy, is that she's doing that side project, and so therefore she wants no talk of Morgan to try and reserve it.
Okay.
Which now what you're saying about Kyle sharing something off camera with Garcelle.
Yeah.
Think if she said, I'm making a documentary with Morgan. So that's why Morgan doesn't want it talked about.
Yeah.
And then Garcelle pulls herself back because she's the one that's actually saying lesbian and saying those words.
Yeah.
And then she goes, but that was a trap to get me to not talk about this.
That's a great conspiracy, but do enough people care about Morgan Wade to have a documentary? Is she famous enough to have a documentary now?
And Andy really called it out.
I loved Andy calling that out.
Yeah.
When he's like, she is in show business, and I would say she got a lot of notoriety with her music. Wouldn't you, from being on the show?
Yeah.
He's like, don't act like she hates the attention.
Right. And now she's a household name.
Yeah. Now she's selling out bigger venues, European tour. Kyle was just in England and Ireland with her doing shows.
I mean, Anyway, I agree with all that. So let's see. Garcelle kind of announces that she's pissed at everything, and then ultimately leads to her walk off. Now Jessica's rolling her eyes.
I can't roll them high enough.
I have an opposite take, Jessica. I was kind of like, I get it, Garcelle.
What? Please explain to me, because when she said, "I'm so mad, I'm not answering anything else," I was literally like, "What? Why?"
Because here's the thing, right? Like, reality TV is all about like who's on the right and who's in the wrong. Sutton was in the wrong. Kyle, shockingly, is in the wrong.
Yeah.
And then Dorit's in the right. Bose is in the right.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you
that
see...
couch versus
yes, you see
couch.
the sides.
Yeah.
Garcelle, unfortunately, had this realization, I feel like, live in this whole thing, is that she's not in the right, nor is she in the wrong. She's in the no one cares part of the couch.
Yeah.
And when Erica says you're not interesting enough, and Andy gives her like a chance to say, what's the highlight of your season? And she doesn't say when Garcelle and Reba and all of that. She talks about Erica and having fun with Erica.
And Garcelle's had been something about Sutton.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then finally, it's like she stands up for her messy ass friend Sutton this entire season, and by default, no one cares about her. It's like all of that just leads to her being like, I'm done. This is not what I want to do anymore. That's how I related to her in that. I'm like,
all right,
I would do the same thing.
Okay, that makes more sense. I'd also heard, don't know if it's a conspiracy, but people saying that they thought Garcelle was seeing the writing on the wall that she was going to be the next target of other couch, whereas it was Sutton. But Sutton was doing everything to not rile up more feathers, and kind of apologizing and backing down on a lot of her stuff to Dorit and to Bose, that they were going to come for Garcelle next season. So she went, I'm not having a takedown season. Like, I'm just out before they can do it to me.
Well, Lisa Vanderpump went online and said basically Garcelle is the only reason why I watched this.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. And she's like, Garcelle was someone before it, and she'll be someone after. Not everyone can say that.
Also, they found that Garcelle has stopped following a lot of people, including Sutton.
Yeah. And Sutton, we were supposed to have supper when she was looking for her.
Oh, my God, how Southern.
Also, Southern.
Jessica, we must stop and just say that Jessica actually called this, and Dorit used it as her insult. So this all happened
Go
when
back a few pods ago. I said this.
When Jessica was on maternity leave, this came out. But Jessica said, and I didn't think it was that good of an insult, that Sutton lived on a main road.
I said she lives on a busy-ass road.
Yes. And Dorit uses it as an insult.
Yeah.
And then today, I sent Jessica, somebody takes a video of Sutton's house. It's on a very busy road.
Yes.
To a point where the house has to have massive trees.
Hedges.
Huge hedges. Because you can see right into it.
Big fence.
Big security kind of style garage. And it's not that big. And it's not that nice.
No.
So Dorit's kind of dig makes a little more sense. I mean, if you have to stop on a main road to turn into your driveway, like... that is lowbrow.
If you're always worried about getting rear-ended by busy traffic,
that's lowbrow.
We have to go back. How part 3 of the reunion started, I thought was iconic. Dorit's "Here She Comes." I loved. Now Lauren's rolling her eyes. I loved that because I think Sutton did exactly what Dorit wanted. She was egging her on, and then Sutton did her like, who do I buy? Who do I buy? Her fucking repeating. I was like, I want to cut Sutton's head off when she repeats like that. And then just Dorit, "Here she comes."
I mean, Dorit was in her I'm taking no prisoners era, which I think is like, finally, Dorit, stop acting like you're some goody two-shoes. Like, just be this person, this vindictive, mean person, right?
Yeah.
And just own it.
Dorit was giving CUNTY.
Right, yes, the whole time.
She was like, yep, here we go.
And she was just like living in it.
Yes.
But Sutton is just a little girl at heart that wants to be cool, right? She just wants to be part of the cool kids.
She wants the cool kids to like her, and they really don't like her.
And then she gets really sad about it.
Oh, it's so sad. But yeah, I mean, do you think Sutton will come back if asked? If Bravo's, I think she would be asked.
Yes, I
think she will. Without
I think
Garcelle?
Sutton is so obtuse; she does not realize that she needs Garcelle to survive amongst these women. And frankly, I mean, Sutton's the real reason why we had anything to talk about this season.
Yeah,
because it would have been a very short season talking about Kyle's text message a PK and that was it.
God,
You know what I mean?
We were over that convo after the first episode it was talked about, and it still went a few more.
Anyway, so we do touch on Mauricio and the infidelity with Kyle, and it is like nothing that Kyle wants to talk about, just
Crickets.
Not at all. And it's so funny. I think first of all, she doesn't want to talk about it because of the divorce.
Yeah, she said we have kids, so that alone, it's like when someone is like, did you XYZ? And someone's like, no comment. And you're like, if you didn't, you would have said no.
Yeah.
So the fact you won't say an answer. So the fact she goes, we have kids and I want to respect, that means there was infidelity.
Right.
Like.
Yes. But you saw on the shortened version that she was in his iPad.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounded like post-divorce, though.
Post separation.
Yeah.
Like he forgot to unhook the iPad in their house. Oh, damn. That is. I mean, Jack said the same thing. Note to self, everyone. Disconnect the iPad.
I don't have an iPad, so we're good.
Before you send your nudies, disconnect the iPad.
To your soon-to-be ex-husband's best friend.
Yeah, right.
Messy. God, I wonder what Kyle saw.
Well, I think, too, that the big thing in my mind is that Kyle, I think I caught this, and this is my theory, is that she uses her daughters to fight for her, because I think those daughters are all old enough, and they're all mini Kyles,
yes.
And those girls call him up and they give him the riot act every single time, and she doesn't have to, and she can play this like, I want to stay above the fray, but like
so
Portia,
true.
give your dad a call and tell him how you feel about that photo.
That you don't like that he's running around town.
I think she uses
at
them.
Chateau Marmont.
Yeah, right.
Two ladies.
Anyway, so let's see. The last thing I'll just say is Kathy, the Kathy of it all. First of all, Kathy's come out with a new face.
I feel like she has an upgrade every season.
The fillers are filling that face.
Yeah.
Also, this is very small, but I just think it's interesting. So Kathy kind of weeds in on the lesbian conversation to say, well, I had to tell Paris and Nikki because of their husbands. And I thought in my head, I'm like, I know.
What did she mean? I didn't catch the because of their husbands.
Yes. So Jessica, this is like, I'm on to Kathy Hilton because I watched that other thing.
Yes.
And I know she's a little bit dark. So I was like, why would she care about the husband? So I reminded myself. And she doesn't care about Paris's husband, whose name is
Nikki is married to a Rothschild.
Yes, Rothschild.
Oh, like this would be a little drama that your aunt is a lesbian.
Yes.
Oh,
so she wanted to make sure that Nikki had the talking points to make sure that she could go tell the Rothschild family.
The old money in-laws.
Looks down their noses at reality TV. What's going on with the Auntie Kyle? Because Paris is married to this rando named Carter Ream, and I know where Carter grew up because I was on Paris in Love. Like I watched.
Where did he grow up?
It was like in like Ohio or something.
He's not wealthy.
He's not wealthy. He's a self-made guy.
Oh, okay.
In LA, and he basically married Paris during. He caught Paris during COVID. Yeah, and they have such a prenup. Nikki married into old money. Nikki did what Kathy hoped she would do and went that way.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that little comment was like so telling because she's like, well, they had to be able to tell their husbands what was going on.
Oh, I see. Have you noticed? Maybe it was definitely on a Watch What Happens Live. I'm not sure if it was discussed on the reunion, but there have been a few times where I think because of Dorit making that wallet comment about, Sutton making that comment about Dorit, that there have been a few times where they're like, who do you think is the richest Real Housewives? Everyone keeps saying Jennifer Tilly. I would have really thought Kathy.
Yes. So I saw something online that the Hiltons Kathy Hilton is not actually part of the Hilton hotel chain in the way that we think of that brand now, which would suggest maybe that either he got out or he didn't have as big of a...
Or it got sold off before.
Right. And then it became a big chain.
Oh, okay.
But somebody, again, on Reddit, we don't know if it's true or not, was saying that what we think of Kathy Hilton and the Hilton hotels is not actually what he makes his bread and butter on. It was his real estate.
It's the real estate.
Yeah. Which would then mean Jennifer Tilly. But also, Jessica, Jennifer Tilly, just supports Jennifer Tilly. Kathy Hilton supported a family and
true.
Private schools and colleges and all that.
Oh, yeah. Jennifer Tilly does not have any kids that we Yeah.
That we
It's
know.
never been mentioned. I like totally forgot Erica had a son.
I know.
Until that was discussed. I was like, oh, right.
Yeah, which she was.
She doesn't come across as very motherly.
No. Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Anything else on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Just how ironic that Garcelle was the one going, I hope we get the cast photo. And then she's the one to refuse it at the end. And then they don't get it.
Yeah. But, I mean, Garcelle may have actually saved that season for them by walking out because that itself was so much drama, you know?
When, when you know that the reunion is filming, because Andy always does his little, teasers, currently doing Beverly Hills or send me questions. And all I saw, Garcelle walks off. Garcelle walks off set. Yeah, it's so true. It would have been such a blah
Can you imagine if she didn't walk off? And she probably did what she actually didn't mean to do, which is she meant to leave them all hanging, right? And instead she gave them all this wind to have something to talk about.
Exactly.
Oh, Garcelle, we love you. All right, Jessica.
But I won't miss you. Sorry.
I know. I won't miss you either.
Sorry.
And we're going to love to see Sutton flounder without you.
Yes, I'm going to enjoy that.
Okay, Jessica, what are the kids talking about these days?
Yes. So, not what they're talking about, but a new class. Okay, this is one high school, so take it with a grain of salt. Let's see if it takes off. But this high school in Ohio is offering a class about how to sleep. And thought it was interesting because, as you can imagine, Gen Zers have only grown up technology in their hands, addicted to TikTok, all that they are the generation that they're falling asleep with their phone in their hand, all that, and that they're getting way fewer hours than they are supposed to, which is then linking to the youth mental health crisis.
Interesting.
Because they were saying adolescents at that age, high school, should be getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. I would say I was close to clocking that as a high schooler. I'd say I got 8.
What are they actually getting?
5 to 6. And that is very detrimental to your health coming from 2 new moms. I do not feel like my brain...
I was thinking in my head, I'm like, I think I'm going through that.
Well, right? I'm like, my brain is not operating at this. I regularly find I can't find a word. And it's a very simple word. I'm trying. I then start almost doing charades to Vince where I'm like, the thing in the kitchen, he's like, the fridge. So yes, I pulled up the stat. Nearly 80% of teens are getting less than the 8 to 10 hours. And it makes sense. We are all, I find when you're scrolling at night, I'm sure I'm sleeping worse and probably getting less sleep where, thank God when we were in high school, I didn't have a smartphone. You just kind of went to bed when you went to your bedroom.
You had to figure out how to shut your brain off.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not easy. Let me just say that.
No.
I have to fall asleep to the Office, Jessica.
Oh, so you're a TV on.
Yes.
We don't have one in the bedroom.
No. I'm sorry. On my phone with one headphone in because I have to listen for my child. Yeah, it's become quite elaborate. It's not an easy thing to listen to The Office as you're falling asleep anymore.
No wonder you know all of Office trivia because you're just watching it on a constant
loop.
Oh
It's
my
for some
gosh.
reason it's just enough background noise that it gets me through it, and then
you love the laugh tracks.
yeah.
Do you ever dream of it then?
Sometimes
had,
if I'm coming
characters?
out of sleep, I'll kind of
Because wait, I have some logistic questions. How does it shut off?
Doesn't.
So you'll at some point you wake up and take your one AirPod out and put your phone.
It will fall out of my ear and I'll actually fall asleep.
To find it in the bed.
Yeah. That's why I have cord headphones.
Oh, you've gone back to corded.
Yep. So yeah, I saw this funny Instagram thing where this millennial was like, "Do you mind if I put on a little white noise to this girl he brought home and it was The Office?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's my white noise." If they ever take that thing off. Of Peacock, I'm gonna have to go buy the box set and on Amazon and just listen to it on Prime
and find a DVD player.
Something. It will be a bad day if I can't listen to The Office.
But let's see if more sleep classes take off. I would for sure take it as a high school. It seems like an easy A.
Are you practicing? Is the teacher so tonight when you're going to bed, the homework is
everyone write about your sleep experience last night. I'd be like,
well,
okay.
I will say though. It starts when you're young because Jessica and I both have newborns right now. Mine's a little older now. And they say you need to have the routine of going to bed, because that's how the newborn knows, like, okay, I'm starting to shut myself down, you know? So I get it.
Yeah. And there are crazy studies talking about babies and children that were good sleepers and how literally affects you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Positively, if you are a good sleeper as a young child.
All right. Conspiracy theories.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Okay. So I have one funny one that's just, I have to hit on it. So I'm a big Reddit person. Anyone who knows me has heard me cite Reddit as my sources.
Bible. Yes.
My check sources, and then they're not always right. So one Reddit thread, though, was saying, what are your conspiracy theories about Bravo? So I'm going to do some quick lines here. Okay, so first, Joe Gorga, Real Housewives of New Jersey, can't read because he once had to read a letter to Teresa, and he like really was like almost memorized. It was like felt memorized. Yeah. And then another point, he has like this letter, or he has some sort of note that he's supposed to like read, and he just sets it on fire. And everyone said it was an effort to try and like not, read it.
Be dramatic, but also he couldn't read it out loud.
Number 2, production helped the FBI set up Jen Shaw, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
I love that one.
And in return, they got to film it. That was the conspiracy of it.
That I honestly don't know if that's too far off.
Coach Shaw also knew what was going on with her. That's another conspiracy.
Yes, he did.
Mary Crosby's on the show because Bravo was hoping to capture her downfall.
Yeah, you said that. Good. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Double conspiracy theory is also that Bravo was working with the feds on Mary Crosby.
Okay, love it.
Bravo shows people wiping their noses to signal doing cocaine. Because there's a lot of cuts apparently on like Below Deck and like Summer House of like someone's like wiping their nose, and you're kind of like, if you actually look out for, you're like, why are we filming this person right now? It's not part of the storyline.
Oh, wow. I'm going to keep my eye open for that one.
Yep. Kyle is annoyed with Dorit for this season for stealing her divorce storyline.
Ooh.
Yep. Thomas Ravenel and Southern Charm had multiple children out of wedlock, not just the 2 with Catherine Darness, which I know was a little bit before your time.
Yes, I know. I need to go. Like, that's one that when I'm bored, I need to just start Southern Charm from season 1.
Yeah. PK set up the theft at Dorit's house.
He what, sorry?
He set up the theft at Dorit's house.
Okay, Garcelle.
Well, the thing that I forgot that was so weird, and I remember when I researched this, is that if you remember, the burglar left Dorit's phone.
Yeah, outside the gate. But in the burglar's defense, those are trackable. That person probably knew that they just had Find My iPhone, so they're like, I'm not holding on to your phone.
If I was the burglar, though, I would have thrown that phone and smashed it as I'm riding down the street. I would be too worried my fingerprints were on that phone in some way.
Okay.
Anyway, so the phone being there was the smoking gun.
Okay.
Oh, here's another good one. Kyle has a secret drinking problem and has always blamed Kim Richards, and that's why she got sober. And Morgan Wade is actually her sponsor.
Okay.
Isn't that so funny?
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's so interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
There was a lot of them.
Oh,
these are the top.
Love that. Okay, I want to deep dive
People
into
are
that.
creative. People are creative.
Yeah.
All right, conspiracy theory number 2, Blue Origin. Have you seen this?
Yes.
It's the all-female fight that went up into space.
Yes. That just happened.
It included Katy Perry, Gayle King, Oprah's best friend,
yep.
Lauren Sanchez, who's Jeff Bezos' wife, his newest wife. Went up on April 14th. The total flight time was about 11 minutes up and down, so that's super short.
Whoa.
Yeah, they were up there for about 3 minutes up in space. So the conspiracy is this didn't actually happen.
Okay.
And here's the pieces of evidence. First of all, the craft came back down. There's not a scorch mark on that Blue Origin craft, which usually when you see film of craft coming back down to Earth, like they're scorched up. There's black marks all over it from re-entering the atmosphere. The second is apparently there's a video of this, and I've watched it. It is kind of weird. So somebody's clearly opening the door of Blue Origin after it's touched down. And this person kind of comes over and says like puts up like, don't open the door yet, because they wanted Jeff Bezos to come over with the actual tool that requires you to open the door, which is like this heavy piece of like equipment. Because the whole vibe is like, you're not supposed to be able to get the door open just with like your hand.
Right. Like it's a car door and you're just like, oh, hello.
It's supposed to be like section cupped in there, so you can't possibly just like open the door with your hand. And if you watch them land, somebody like tries to open the door, and then literally a Blue Origin employee comes over and kind of goes, no, not yet, not yet, and then Jeff comes over with the tool.
Is that before or after he fell? Did you see that clip? He tripped in this like divot. That was so funny.
Oh my God, hilarious. Also, the last point, which I think this is somewhat of the smoking gun, is some people have so there's video that was taken of them up in space, and people have run that video through the AI tools, and it says that's 82% chance that's AI. That video of them up in space.
But are they, I did not, other than seeing the Jeff Bezos fall clip, I've literally not looked at any of this other Blue Origin. Is there an actual video, I'm putting in quotes if it's AI, but of it launching and of it coming back down?
Yes.
Okay, so
there's multiple people that watched it all happen.
Okay.
So it's a little bit odd to say it's a conspiracy, but we don't know.
Yeah.
They could have done it.
Sunny thinks conspiracy.
Sunny.
She concurs.
Sunny in the background. Anyway, Jessica, that is it.
Oh, so good to be back, Lauren.
I love, the one thing I will say in our podcast defense is there seems to be more conspiracy theories about reality TV coming out, which is like, thank God we trademarked this name.
I mean, yeah, definitely trademarked.
Thank God we have a trademark so no one can steal it.
Yes, don't even think about it. Our lawyers will be in touch.
Daryl.
Send it to Daryl.
Anyway, Jessica, love you. Thanks for coming
Yes.
back. Bye.
Bye.